It's time to lock and load. Knockoff Faco Thomas Pinata is busted. I think that Thomas train there copped a bit of bad coal. Good night, sister. The beep has been removed from this video, and as always, this video is highly educational. Beep, beep, beep. Wednesday, 17th of July, winter Redback Roundup. I've got Bubble here assisting me. I think she's eating grass. And what has worried me is on this spider lure out the front of our place, I've noticed some suspicious web. And now Bubble is going to come along and take out the suspicious web, isn't she? Good girl. Hopefully got it in frame, and also Bubble's tail. It's that there. Very, very fine. It's Redback Spider web. Yeah, Bubble's really showing us her flair today. In the dirt, right next to where the redbacks live. Thank you, Bubble. I love you. The last time I was at this spider lure was back on the 26th of March of 2024. That's where B2 was here, and there was also an open egg sac with spiderlings getting about. Now, I ended up taking command of the area in a sense. It was the end of B2, and I always thought to myself, I wonder if any of those spiderlings escaped this area. Well, I think some have. Yeah, 4 months ago, hey? Winter time has been upon us. It's been very wet, I can tell you. Let's take a look inside of the spider lure, nice and carefully, of course. Okay, there's web inside. And my goodness gracious me, I've got a redback friend hiding out in the top. We've got a bit of a treat going on here. A nice double act. We've got a male redback spider here as well. Let's take a closer look. There's the male there. I'll put a circle around the male. It's almost melding in with the background. That's definitely a male redback spider. These redbacks are small, although the male, it may be near full maturity. I'm just going to get the male to move. They're quite skitterish if you give them a prod. Okay, that's the male on the move going near the female. The young lady in there is only a youngster. If I get my finger in there next to her, you get a scale of what's going on there. Very important to understand how small they are in their developing stage. I can see the little white markings on her back. I can also see her red back is starting as well. So yeah, she's going to be a messy little spider when she grows up. But hey, we're not going to get to that stage, are we? I'll just tease the male again. At the moment, the male's just slightly smaller than the female redback in there. Yeah, okay, you can see them doing their thing. There's a nice double shot of the female on the left hand side and the male on the right hand side. That's a rare shot to pull off, I can tell you. In winter time, these spiders tend to not do very much. They would be hanging out on the top of this lure because it's a nice warm spot when the sun's out. At the moment, the sun's playing hide and seek, and as you can see, these spiders are not really that zingy. I've seen these spiders be a lot more zingier. Oh, they're going to get close. Whoa, okay. Yes. But it's weird. They sort of, well, they love each other, but you wouldn't know it by seeing the way they've just parted. The thing we need to understand is in the end, if things were let to go the natural way, he is going to get eaten by her. That's how it works. And maybe that's why he always seems to give her a wide berth. When they get near each other, well, magic doesn't happen. In fact, I would say he's very, very scared of her. So would I be. I'm just keeping an eye on this boy. I wanted to stay in this container for a very good reason. You'll see soon. And I'm just watching the way he's operating. All I know is that he won't be operating much longer. Okay, but we're making sure that we're seeing both the male here and the female who's just there. She's a bit recluse at the moment. Remember, this is the middle of winter, which is a bit unusual to see these spideroonies. And maybe it's a great proving point for these spider lures, using the word lure and not trap. I'm going to set the lid up like this. You'll understand why very soon. Bubble, I need the Redback Spider Control Chart. Give it to me, please. Okay, a very important part to this video, and we have to be educational in this video or else we're going to get flagged off the site. The Redback Spider Control Chart is there looking at you. I've added some very important details onto this chart. We'll speak about those soon, but at the time I'm making this video, it's basically, I'm calling it the middle of July. It's also basically the middle of winter in a sense. It's been very wet. I found the spiders at that lure back on this time here as a winter solstice, the 20 whatever of June, okay? If I remember, I'll put a title up. If I forget, I won't have the title. This mark here is indicating when I had that funnel web spider caught up in our back kitchen, and I think it was because of all the rain we've had. We've had a lot of rain. There was 2 weeks of rain that was persistent before that spider appeared. I really think it was related to a rain event, and the spider was harassed out of wherever it lives. Very unusual find. I don't like finding funnel web spiders, but I've now found 2. The previous one before that one was the 26th of February 2023. It had died in a tub. It would have been the mating season for that male spider. In fact, both the spiders were male spiders, the most dangerous spider in the world. Not nice to find, and very important to put them here on the Redback Spider Control Chart. Very important addition. If you're wondering what SFW stands for, it means Sydney Funnel Web. If I'm found 2, there's going to be more around, but at least I've shown the Redback Spider Control Chart. And because we've been educational, I guess I can just piss that off over there somewhere. And of course, Bubble's going to end up sitting on it again. That's the way she's set. Anyway, back to business. It's time to deal with the redback spiders that are caught up on this lure. Good night, brother and sister. Dusted. Oops, Mummy's garden's got some collateral damage. I'm not seeing a lovely couple doing much moving now, but guess what? They will be useful for another purpose. I've put the spider carcasses down there next to an ant nest. I'll tell you what, the ants always love me at my place. I just come along and reset the lure, close the lid down. Getting a bit old and rusty now, but they're very, very effective. Okay, I'll move on to the lure, which is next to the one we just had a look at. There is a little bit of fine web coming from the bottom here. I haven't looked in here yet, but what I have done recently was I dug all the soil out of here and all the cat droppings and poop. And I did that because when I caught that funnel web spider, I started to read into the venoms of the spiders and how dangerous different spiders are to different things. And I found out that the redback spider venom is very dangerous to pets. So that's why I'm on a bit of a rampage at the moment. Although Bubble was playing with that funnel web and it did nothing to her. I've heard a few things said about that, but I really don't understand. Okay, the funnel webs are very, very peculiar in the way its venom operates. But in here there may be a redback. I'm seeing that very wispy web. Let me have a bit of a closer look. Okay, a lot of fine web here. And I'm just seeing if anything starts to run and scramble in here. What's this up here, back there? Remember, this is the middle of winter, so things can be well asleep. I'm very suspicious about that there. There's a surefire way to quell any suspicions like that. Whatever was there is now frippin' dusted. Well, I can tell you this, I ain't seeing anything up there now. Oops, it's a bit hot. Ugh. Isn't it amazing how fire does such a wonderful job at cleaning up stuff? I'm forever amazed by its beauty. Okay, moving on to another spider lure. I'm right next to Little Cat and Teddy's grave, and I don't think we've had Remember Teddy section in the video, so let's do it right now. Right next to Teddy's grave, apart from a lot of winter weeds underneath this spider lure, I can see all the hallmarks of redback spider web. It's very fine, so it's possibly only a small redback in here. Maybe you're having trouble seeing it. The sun's coming in and out today. I prefer when it's half out. And I'm just tweezering the web there. Maybe your eyes are starting to work out what that redback web is. This is very fine. So sort of, well, I'm saying it's going to be a little one, I hope. It's a bit unusual doing a redback roundup in the middle of winter, although I have had redbacks before in the middle of winter and always made a point out it was very strange. because it's not really spider thieving, just opening this up. Okay, I can see her. I can see she's at the top there. I'm just going to check the lid first, just very carefully, looking for maybe a male or something. I can see a bit of web in the corner there. Okay, yeah, I don't know, there's something there. Look, I think that's clear. Let me just put that down there gently. Okay, this redback is a little bit more mature. I'm just going to get the tweezers in there and make a move. She's not going to like me. Well, she'd be half asleep because it's winter, I hope. Just trying to get it to be a bit more easily seen. Yeah, she's a bigger one than the last lure. I don't want her to come out. I want her to stay in there. You stay in there, please. I'm trying to get her to go into the web in her lure, but of course she's playing hard to get. They stick onto the metal because it's a little bit warmer this time of year. Okay, I've got a clear shot of her, hopefully in focus. Just gonna make a razzle and dazzle. Remember, this is winter time finds, okay? Yes, I don't think I'd want to put my finger near one this size. She's very wintry, isn't she? She's not very awake. But hey, she's going to wake up very soon. I'm just looking around in there to see if there's another spider, hopefully the male. It's a bit of a rare treat to see the male and female together, as we saw in the other lure. I know the audience will think, oh, I thought there was a spider in there, didn't you see it? All I know is very soon we won't see any spider in here at all. Good night, sister. Dusted. I would say that Redback Spider lure is now totally clean, but I'm just going to point out something that's useful about the Flamethrower. I see that weed there. It's excellent for tidying up weeds. Okay. Oops, that was Mummy's garden going up in flames. But that weed's going to die now. I'll guarantee it. And while I've got the Flamethrower still up and running, I notice around these pipes here, and I've had a redback up one of these before, some very fine web, and if I get that pipe with the web around it in the middle of frame there, I'm very suspicious about that. But guess what? I've got the perfect tool to sort it out. Dusted. Whatever that thing there is, and it looks like a fly, it's been frippin' nailed. There we go, it looks like a winter fly. Dusted by the Flamethrower. There we go, a complete and utter miracle machine. Kills everything in sight. Meanwhile, back at the spider lure next to Teddy's grave, we've got to find the carcass of the redback. I can see it, it's down there. I'll just carefully extract her little body. Ew! Well, dum-dum me, I just dropped the redback into this area here, and I think the chances of me finding her now in amongst this is going to be frippin' zero. Mind you, I'm sure a colony of ants are going to find her far easier than me. It's like trying to play a strange game of Where's Wally when it's in there. Anyway, I will get the lure back together without using the negative word trap, but these are proving to be really, really successful at luring redback spiders. I'm just having a look back here at the dynamic duo. That's the male and female redback. They're put next to the ant nest. I can't see any ant activity here around the spiders yet. It might take a bit of time. I mean, I just can't make the ants do what I want them to do. Remember, this is the middle of winter. I'm still at the front. There's a couple of spider lures here that I'm going to move. There's no web under them, so I dare say there is no spiders. Quite daring of me to do, isn't it? No, that one's as clean as a whistle. And there's this one here, and it's one of the good spider lures, but it's rarely ever had any action because it's always in the shade. It's encroached by garden. Okay, just looking at this here. Okay, it's as clean as a whistle as well. That bloody plant just got me. Frippin' hell. Maybe his garden's frippin' dangerous. I'm going to pull this out and move it over to a more advantageous area after much frippin' fighting. Oh, frippin' hell. Okay, there's a bit of wispy web in there, but I don't think there's any spiders. Okay, so I have got the whole lure out, and I'm going to set this up where the sun shines. Okay, I've got the spider lure here. I'm going to set it next to the very famous spider lure in our front yard. That's a very famous one. I'm going to set it up about here somewhere. If you're not familiar with the spider lure, it's a very simple device. It's basically a barbecue charcoal starter, okay, that you put your charcoal in here and you heat them up and then you get your barbecue going. And this is a cake tin, okay, with a bit of a cutout there, so it is able to fit over the top of the lure, if that makes any sense. It's a very, very simple thing, just made up of everyday items. Okay, I've hit in what I call a star picket. Some people call them Waratah stakes, depending on what part of the world you're in. A thing like that is called something different. It's got cable ties holding the barbecue starter on. It's all very simple. I don't do complex. I've set it up at a height of around that, my hand. It's a bit like restringing a guitar. Okay, if you ever restrung a guitar, that's the secret to getting how much string you have loose before you start to tune it up. Okay, I'm just going to do one thing before I close this up. I like to start off with a clean slate, and this does it for me. Yeah, and sorry to Mummy's garden again. Don't forget to put the lid on. The little cutout there lines up with the handle of the barbecue starter, that section there. And it's just done like that because, well, that's the size of the cake tin that I used. And just lining it up correctly there. And when it's on there, I'm sure we're going to catch some redback spiders in here for sure. Very much the dynamic duo of luring redback spiders. This is the other type of lure I've got. They've been semi-successful, more so in the backyard. Yeah, I prefer the Rolls-Royce model that we just looked at. It's just a metal pail. Okay, it's getting very rusty and old now, and it's got a flower pot stand there with some magnets there. And of course the magnets stick to the metal pail, and that's it set. Okay, so it's a very simple lure there, but I prefer the other Rolls-Royce style. I sort of learned how to make the perfect snail home, and I never understood why snails went for this one. If I can get the lid off, it'd be really nice. And let's see who's in here at the moment. Oh yeah, well, it doesn't disappoint. We've got a couple of snails, and I'll carefully pick up the snail family. And maybe the thing I've learned is, if you've got snails in these, guess what? You don't get any redback spiders. That's what I've learned. Hey, we've got to be educational these days, don't we, on YouTube? It's the thought it is now. I'm out the backyard now. Now I'll put a couple of tubs against the wall here because I'm hoping that I can get another funnel web spider to basically come down off the wall and get trapped into a tub. That's what I'm hoping for. It may never happen, but hey, it may happen again. Bubble has followed me out the back here. Isn't she pretty? And a curious thing here, and remember, this is the middle of winter, and we had just the most amazing choco vine from last summer, and I think it had a lot to do with how much rain we had, and we still get chocos, although this is oversized. Look at that there. I can't stand chocos, and what I worked out is no other critter in the backyard will touch a choco, and I think that says much about them. Bubble, you're very discerning with food. What's your thoughts about chocos? You tell me if it's a yay or nay. Okay, tell me if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Yay or nay, Bubble? Looks like a nay. Okay, this is a newer spider lure that I put in the backyard. It's one of the Rolls-Royce styles, as I call them. And I've got a strong suspicion this has got no redbacks because I can't see any web at all going on underneath, although Bubble is also going to check. Oh, she's a... Bubble, why are you like this? You are absolutely flipping crazy, I'm sure. Yes, okay, Bubble was helping there. She's inquisitive because she's a cat. Just always very carefully here because you just never know. It's curious, I can see a spider in here, and it's a nice spider. Okay, that there, potentially Daddy Longlegs, cellar spider. I'll just get it to move. It's almost totally camouflaged. Okay, we're going to look after this girl, and we're going to keep her here because I think while she's here, the redbacks won't be. I will take a look down inside the lure here. Okay, I can see Yeah, some very fine web, but I can't see anything that looks redbackery. And that was a new word for the English language. Very carefully put that back like that. Yes, very interesting, isn't it? Well, I'm going to finish the video off by just showing you some short stills and video of the spider traps in the backyard here. Put it this way, I can't see any redback spider web, and if there is a good spider there, I want to keep it there. If I'm seeing redback spider web, I would have taken a look at it and I would have decided what to do. And Bubbles just distracted me because she thinks she's going to catch a bird, but she can't catch birds, you see. I told you. Yeah, she's sort of renowned for not being able to catch a bird. She needs to go back to cat school. Anyway, before I got distracted by Bubble again, basically the backyard is clean, but it's been clean for some time. It's been the front yard that is presented with redback spiders of recent redback roundups, if that makes any sense. Remember, this was a middle of winter redback roundup, and it's a little bit unusual to find redbacks in the middle of winter. It was quite an interesting one, I thought. I've had technical issues, and I'm just going to try to get this video up onto YouTube as quick as I can. And to get the studio display returned to Apple had taken far too long. In fact, it goes back tomorrow on the 18th of July of 2024. It's quite a story and saga that went on around getting that returned to the Apple Store, which it should have been taken into the start, and also getting a refund, because under Australian consumer law, that's how it works here. Well, I hope we learned something in this video. If we didn't learn something in this video, I'd get into a stack of trouble. Oh, crap! Okay, it's just gone pop. Man, that scared the shit out of me.